Well, would you take a look at all this goddamn injustice all over the place? This is Corey, and this is the Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 192 of the Anthem podcast and our continuing saga of what the hell does it matter anyway? It is 8:56 Pacific time. That makes it 11:56 Eastern time, and The Anthem is live from coast to coast, broadcasting from the beautiful #OTLA studios, live in downtown Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
And as you can see, we are still remaining in the studio despite all of the fires happening around downtown or around LA.
We
are still
not really around downtown as much, but
around LA.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, thank you for joining us for this brand new episode of the podcast.
thank you very much for watching. Thank you much for listening, downloading, sharing, doing all the great things that you do. All of it is appreciated. All of it is secretly loved by both Rob and I because we have Complex where we need people to love us.
Of course. And, of course, make sure you're following at The Anthem on all your social networks. That's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And, of course, you can always call in during the week and leave us a message at the listener line, 443-219-7595.
Or text it right now, 443-219-7595.
And you want to make sure you go to otheanthem.com for all the latest The Anthem news. Of course, we are broadcasting live on YouTube at youtube.com/otheanthem/live. You can join us there for the recording of every single podcast. Make sure you check it out there. If you're listening or watching this on Tuesday, thank you for joining us anyway. And make sure that you can always reach us by any of those or Corey at otheanthem.com.
Indeed.
So a lot of news happening around LA this week. Some of it personal, some of it not impacting us, even though my mother doesn't know that. And she texts me every single day just to make sure.
The fire, are you okay? Are you burning alive?
Fire around you? Fire around you? Yeah, so for those of you who haven't been paying attention, there are a few fires around LA, but we are broadcasting from the studio.
But it's 100% absolutely not because of global warming.
No, absolutely not. It is not snowing in December, 8 inches on the eastern shore of Maryland because of global warming. It's not burning California because of global warming.
Puerto Rico still doesn't have power because of global warming.
None of this is the fault of global warming, just so we are straight on all of those facts. But nonetheless, to the north of us, by about 4 or 5 miles, there's a fire burning north of the 210 freeway. Mm-hmm. Out in Santa Barbara, there's a fire. In Ventura, there is a fire.
Towards Glendale, there's a fire?
Yeah, there's a fire just north of us in Glendale, and then there's another one just north of my work where the 405 and the 101 meet.
Yeah.
None of these are around us, and I can't stress this enough to everyone. We really appreciate all the messages and the concern that everyone's expressing.
Yeah.
But we are surrounded by concrete and blacktop.
Yeah.
There's very little chance of a fire actually impacting us. We had the folks who are living without homes next door to us on a lot.
Yeah.
They had a fire. That is the closest we're going to have to worry about a fire getting to our actual building.
Yeah, I mean the only thing, if it starts next to the building, then we're probably fucked. But
right, there's more of a threat from the guy who has had a candle burning on his deck for the last 9 days than there is from any of these wildfires. And I still don't understand that candle.
I don't either.
I want to get one of those candles. And two, I want to ask the guy, why is it sitting on your balcony burning all the time? But and it's not. Listen. Despite what Trump may have told you, it is not Hanukkah. This is not a Hanukkah.
Hanukkah's still a week away.
Yeah. Despite the fact that the White
candle
House
has been burning for 9 crazy nights.
Yes, it's crazy. But speaking of crazy, we had a bit of a crazy weekend this weekend.
Yeah, lots of things to discuss.
Yeah, so what...
part of the reason why we decided to do OTA After Dark on Monday.
Yes.
Because we wanted to make sure that we didn't cut off any of the great stuff that was happening.
Absolutely.
And push it off till next week.
Usually on Saturdays when we broadcast, if you're listening to this, make sure you join us on YouTube every single Saturday, generally Saturday. But this Saturday we couldn't do that.
No.
Why is that?
Because... Rachel and I went to Disneyland.
Ooh, Disney.
Yeah. We spent most of the day in California Adventure. It was wonderful. Mm-hmm. All the Christmas lights are great in Disney at this time of year.
Now let me ask you, did you get the park hopper?
We did.
Yeah. Now, was that worth it or what? Right?
No. Nope, not at all.
Why not?
Here's the thing I'll say. If you're listening to the sound of my voice and you're in Southern California.
Yes. I am.
And you're thinking about going to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the one park.
Yeah.
Just spend the entire day doing the one park. If you get like an annual pass where you can like come back for less, then you will have the opportunity to go to multiple parks. But like,
isn't there only 2? Is there more than 2?
No, there's 2 of them.
Okay.
So I mean, like the best you could possibly do is 2. But I would suggest not doing that. Just go to the one park in the day and enjoy it, and then if you want to go to the other one, like save it for next time you go. Or
by the way, this I feigned a surprise at this, but I had some time to think about it today, and they probably can't because of the wildfire threat. They could. Sorry, what is the reason that you really wanted to go to the Magic Kingdom?
Oh, to see the lights and the fireworks.
Right.
Yeah.
And I imagine that the fireworks were an issue because of the wildfire threat right now.
Probably. Yeah.
Because it is kind of out. It's not out in the boonies, but it's not in downtown where we are, surrounded by concrete and blacktop.
Yeah. I mean, you would have to imagine though that they've thought about this. I mean, maybe there's just a general like a decree put out by the state of California, like don't light anything on fire right now.
Listen, everything is burning, and if anything around you catches on fire, they're gonna blame you.
Can we not set off fireworks at Disney right now because there's a chance that the whole state catches on fire? Like
the air above the state may just start to burn. Burn the whole thing. Yeah. But so you went to the California Adventure. I'm sure you got to ride, like 50 or 60 rides while you were there.
We rode most of them.
Okay.
We didn't do the Grizzly Run or whatever it was.
Okay.
Grizzly Creek because it was a wet. We didn't want to get wet.
Right.
We didn't want to deal with that.
The best thing about Rachel going to any amusement park is I feel like I went along with you. Because Snapchat was updated so regularly that I could just stay here, not stand in the lines for 70 minutes.
And enjoy some of the rush of
enjoy most of the ride. It was fantastic.
It's weird though. I was thinking about this earlier. It was like, I wonder if Disney if it would be better for everybody involved if they limited the number of people who could go into Disney on a day. Because if you go to, say the Guardians ride, the wait was regularly like 2 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already cutting out 2 of the 12 hours that you're going to spend at Disney in one line for one ride.
Yeah.
So why not just charge more for admission and let less people in? And then the lines wouldn't be as bad, and it would feel like more of a value to the people who aren't standing in line all day.
Because the problem is, what they could do is offer certain bracelets.
Yeah.
Like this gets you on any ride in the park.
They have that.
No, what I mean is, though, if you're there with kids, you don't count towards those bracelets because you're not going to be able to get on Guardians with your kids.
Yeah.
Because, like if you have 4 and 5-year-olds. And that way you go do although California Adventure is really all adult rides.
No, there's some kid rides.
Well, there's cars, but that's full of adults. So.
Well, there's like the Little Mermaid ride. That was good.
That should be a kid's ride, but I'm sure it was full of adults.
Yeah, there's adults everywhere at Disney.
Millennials, I swear to God. I swear to God.
We all grew up on the Little Mermaid, so we want to see how she's been holding up.
How'd she hold up?
Good. Keeping it tight. Leg it.
Wait. Say that again to the camera.
Keeping it tight.
Nice. All right. Yeah. She's like a 12-year-old girl. So.
Well, at this point now, she's like a 42-year-old woman.
All right. Fair enough. So you.
That movie came out like 30 years ago, right?
1991. So.
Okay. She's even if she was 0 in 1991.
Yeah.
She's well past the age of consent at this point.
She's older.
And by the way, I'm not even saying that I wanted to sleep with her. I'm just saying she's looking good. For somebody of her advanced age, she looks the same as she did in the movie.
Listen, Roy, let's stay on topic. Let's talk about Disney, okay? So, but you had a good time over the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Over the trip to Disney. I have never seen. I'm used to Rachel passing out quickly, but post Disney Rachel is a whole different level of like, sit down, take the shoes off, out. Just
seconds.
Seconds. But I've been there. Like I know the stress level of like finally getting home.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine the hour ride back in LA traffic and then getting back here finally. So
the traffic back wasn't all that bad because it was later in the
right.
At 11 o'clock at night, the traffic isn't as miserable as it is at like 5 o'clock.
And you had the relaxing like teacup ride at the end and
Mr.
Toad's Wild Ride.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride for a little.
It's a palate cleanser, but it's the classic. See, that's the thing is, that might be a kid's ride, by the way, not for kids. The imagery in that ride is not for children.
It's a little terrifying.
Yes. I remember being 12 and being like, there's something wrong going on here. Mr. Toad is drunk and he's taking us on a crazy trip. This is not good. Anyway, but I still have not been to Disney. I'm not really planning on going to Disney.
I really don't know if the value is worth it.
Yeah.
At this point, because it's just such a fucking free for all, and like you can get the fast pass, so you can go into the fast lines for certain rides, basically by saying like I want to go on the 2:00 Space Mountain, and then you like put yourself in, and then you go into the separate line that is much shorter than the big line.
Yeah.
And the idea is you get a certain amount a day, and you can just sort of like skip the line.
But
you're not really skipping the line. You're just cutting the line from 2 hours to 40 minutes.
Right.
So.
Ruh-roh. Are we still connected?
Are we alive?
Nope. We are. Oh, there we go. We're
That's
back.
right.
Hey guys,
sorry about the hiccup.
So anyway, so you're not skipping the whole line. You're just shortening.
Yeah, you're just shortening it to like 40 minutes as opposed to the full hour.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Or 2 hours. It's not really worth all that, you know? Like,
sure.
I don't know.
But so it seems to me it's the kind of thing where like when family comes in, that's when you would go.
Yeah.
Except for at Christmas time when somebody who's really into Christmas, you guys can't see, but the Christmas tree is up against my vehement.
Well, I mean, we are within 2 weeks of Christmas, so I think you have to.
But we're not going to be here. Oh wait, I'm not going to be here. You guys.
Yeah, I'm going to be here.
Christmas. That's true. So all right, withdraw.
But don't worry, before you come back, the tree will be gone. It'll be.
I was going to say
on the 110.
Somebody needs to be concerned because I'm going to be left alone with a Christmas tree for a night, and it may not end up back in the box at the end of this. So be very careful. Anyway, so the fun didn't end on. I guess you guys didn't get enough walking on Saturday.
No.
So you're like,
we were just like, can we walk some more?
Can we be on our feet for another 5-6 hours? That'd be fun.
But at least the trip on Sunday to the LA Auto Show included occasional sitting.
It did. Yes.
Where you like sit in a car and you're like, oh yeah, I can see what it's like owning a Lincoln Continental. Like,
I sat in maybe 3 cars the entire time.
Oh really?
Yeah, because like everybody who's there is like all about sitting in them, and I'm like, you're never gonna afford this car. You're never gonna afford this.
Well,
car.
I mean, there's ones that you could afford that are sitting around.
Then why do I want to sit in it?
Because I'd like to know what kind of gear it has, like what kind of.
Sure. Yeah.
Like so, the first thing that we saw when we walked in the door was the new Civic Type R, which is coming back to America.
Oh yeah,
and I wanted to sit in that one and just sort of see if it felt like the proper like sedan race car that it's supposed to be.
And then you got to go in the owner's lounge at Honda.
Actually, we didn't. We never made it into the owner's lounge. The line was too long.
No.
Too many owners. Too many happy, satisfied owners.
I do appreciate though that like the owner's lounge at Honda has like coffee and like cookies, and then we walk by, was it Porsche?
Yeah.
And it's sushi
and like burritos. Yeah.
All right, yeah. I guess that makes it worthwhile.
And really attractive people at the opening.
Yes, very attractive people standing by the door. Honda though wasn't. I mean, they weren't that bad looking.
No,
Honda. So
they were all right.
But it was
there was probably one girl that Rob would talk to if he was stuck in an elevator with, and then like one girl that looked like Kim Davis. So.
Wait, was that Honda? Yeah. Not
yeah.
Porsche.
Yeah. No.
Porsche.
No.
Yeah.
They only hired the most expensive escorts they could find to man the Porsche.
I think they actually had a model laying out, and they were putting sushi on the model. It was
they were
ridiculous.
eating off a naked model. It was
ridiculous.
I did. By the way, when we walked by, like the front of the line where the staff was like checking keys to make sure you're an actual Porsche owner, there were like these like 19-year-olds or whatever going like, "I love my Porsche key at home. Do you mind just letting us in?"
There was a time.
No, sir.
There was a time where you could think you could walk and talk your way in.
Yeah.
Nope, not going to happen at the Los Angeles Auto Show. They have pretty strict security, which requires showing your key.
Yeah.
Which I don't really understand how that proves that you're an owner. But you know,
I feel like next year what I should do is I should just go online and find like a fake Porsche key for like $5.
Well, no, it's not even that because the keys fold in on themselves.
Right.
So you could just buy a blank key.
Yeah.
And go in and be like, oh, yeah, here's my Porsche.
Here's my Porsche key. It's like, what do you have? 911?
Is that
We
a car
only
they still make?
sell 4 cars. Which one do you have?
By the way, you have to walk through the showroom.
But then of course they'd ask you all kinds of like pretentious Porsche only questions. Does yours have a quadrifogic blah pop? Like
that's not a real thing. Correct answer. Okay. Yes.
it was a real thing, but it wasn't. It's not in our cars now. So you succeed.
I do.
Welcome to Porsche.
You have to walk through the showroom, so you could literally be like, Macan. All right, that's the one I drive. Here we go. Yes, I'm with the Macan. Wait, that's not how you pronounce it.
The Macon?
That's how I pronounce it. I don't really.
The Porsche Macon Bacon?
It's like pecan, right? Like you can say it multiple different ways. Pecan, pecan. It's very different.
My favorite Porsche owner story, by the way, is my friend Brian's dad had a Porsche, and when I walked in through the garage, I saw it. It was just like, nice Porsche out there, and he's like, when you can pronounce it, it's called Porsche. When you can afford it, it's pronounced Porsche.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks. No, that's all right. That's not making me feel terrible about my life at all. It's fine.
And here's the thing. I don't know that that's true. Because wasn't there a whole thing on the Grand Tour about how to pronounce it?
I think so, yeah.
There was because like the owner who provided the car to them called it Porsche, but all 3 guys on there called it Porsche.
Yeah.
So listen, you're the ones driving it for free. Well,
maybe it's like how they say things different there, like aluminium or Jaguar.
Yeah. So really, you're being pretentious and European, and nobody likes that.
Speaking about people who are pretentious, Rob.
Do we have an update?
I'm pulling up. I assume that we're done now.
Yeah. So currently, the OTA Bowl playoff version is going on in fantasy football.
Let me just state this first.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Up until the last week of the season, I was in first place for most of the season. Mm-hmm. In the last week, I fell short and didn't retain the number 1 seed and fell myself into the wild card round where I had to play Rob.
Yes.
The 6th seed.
The 6th. The
guy
squeaked in.
just squeaked in.
Barely made the playoffs.
By 40 some odd points. He
Yes.
scored extra
Literally,
during the course of the year.
The same record, but by points got into the playoffs.
And Rob and I faced off here in this wild card round.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say, we call it the Feast and Famine League for a reason.
And Rob wins 111.9 to 99.54 off of 4.8 points from Brandon Cooks. How fucking dare you guys?
By the way, the better end of that
as if there wasn't enough reasons to hate the Patriots.
The better part of this
They
is,
screw you on Monday, they screw you on Tuesday.
what round did you draft Brandon Cooks in?
Oh, probably like the 3rd or 4th.
Okay, so my star of the week,
Yeah.
Adam Thielen, who I picked up as a sleeper in like 7th, 8th round.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, I remember Rob turning to me and be like, Adam Thielen? Really? He's not even the best wide receiver on his team.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, we'll see.
I also remember in week 1 when we were walking through the 2nd Street Tunnel.
Yes.
On our eventual journey to Big Wings, how you said, man, I really need another tight end or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I don't know who to drop to make room. You're just like, do I drop Adam Thielen or do I drop somebody else? I can't remember.
Yep.
And I remember thinking like, well, what the hell is Adam Thielen going to do all season?
Yes, exactly. Everybody all along was like,
I'd probably drop Adam Thielen.
Why are you sticking with him? But then he put up 14 points in week 1. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Just
That's
let it
respectable.
ride.
That's wide receiver 3 territory. I'll
Yeah.
put you in there. And then by the end of the season, he's putting up 22, 24,
Yeah.
28. Oh, man. Thank you, Adam. But no, the heartbreaking part of this, though, is that was there any combination of players in which you would have beaten me this week?
No.
That's a heartbreaker. Yes.
No.
Yes.
This is my legacy in fantasy football. In fantasy baseball, I have a good enough. I think it's because it's the week long.
Right.
Like, so if early in the week you start falling behind on certain things, you can adjust your lineup accordingly and like pick it up later in the week.
Football though,
it's just that one day, that one decision, and then even if you make what should be the right decision, Like so I would have been better off if I would have started Marquise Lee instead of Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
But under what logical situation would I bench the 5th highest scoring wide receiver in the league?
Right.
For the, I don't know, like 20th or whatever.
And just because he's playing on Monday and you're not really sure how it's going to shake out. Yeah. There's no
To be fair though, I would have had a first round bye if I would have started Antonio Brown last Monday. Because I said to myself going into the weekend, I was just like, you know what? I really just don't want a goose egg from Antonio Brown. I don't want to like leave it up to Monday and then have 0 points and then not be able to do anything about it.
Yep.
But if I would have started him because he had like 20 something points despite having like a bum ankle or something like that.
Yep.
I would have reaped the benefit of a first round bye and I wouldn't have had to worry about stupid Rob in the first round.
No. But here's the tragic thing. I'm not sure I'm going to progress past next week. So I may have knocked out the only hope of bringing that trophy back to the West Coast.
Yeah.
So you're probably welcome. East Coasters, it's going to stay in Baltimore. Although who knows? It is the Feast and Famine League, and some weeks you have it, some weeks you don't.
Some days you feast, some days you famine.
Yep. Or I could put up 47 points next week, and that be the end of the game. Who knows?
Or there could be a mysterious drop in the middle of the week. It's not collusion. Nobody listen to that.
But yeah, so fantasy football for Corey, unfortunately, it's not done because you'll still play next week. But not really for any reason. Just to continue playing.
Just to run up the score on Burns, who probably won't bother replacing Carson Wentz as his quarterback. Be like, I die on this hill.
He could come back. You don't know.
You don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen. He might come back.
There's no... Listen, the Americans with Disabilities Access, you have to allow people to do their job regardless of their state. So just put him out there in a wheelchair. You just wheel his way.
Yeah.
Just ball sitting on his lap. Just...
He's got it.
Wentz is going for the first down.
By the way, that might have been a helpful way for the Ravens to play this week, because perhaps they would have gotten some yard. I don't know. Maybe that would have been the difference maker, because I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter of that game, but it was appalling.
Appalling. Jesus Christ,
yes.
that's a heavy word.
Yes. So I will say this: it was nice to be able to watch the Ravens game from home.
Mm-hmm. Always a pleasure.
We got to spend.
By the way, just not to bury the lead too much here, but there is a chance that we could, if we wanted to, watch a playoff game involving the Ravens in Los Angeles.
That's true.
Because the Chargers may win the division.
Yes.
And we may line up against them in a wild card game.
Crazy.
And that would happen at StubHub Center in Carson, where it will be filled to the gills with Ravens fans. If just the people from the West Wing go, it'll be fuller than StubHub Center's been all year.
Yes. And the tickets will be $1,000.
Why?
Just because. Just because that's the way it works.
Spanish is just like, fuck everybody. Nobody goes to the game.
Spano is just going to find a way to screw over Chargers fans. It's not even about us. It's just the Chargers fans. This is how I reward you.
He's just going to block off the I-5. Just like, nobody comes up.
Nobody's coming. But anyway, so we got to watch the game at home. We got to spend $11 a piece on wings instead of $100 a piece.
At Big Wings.
At Big Wings. And then...
Well, the problem is that those beers are so big.
Yeah.
And like you pound through like 3 of them and you're just like, I can do a 4th.
And next thing you know, it's $80.
You look at the bill and you're just like, shit.
But
you get this, it's just like, this is only $7. Can you believe it?
Yeah. And then I have 11 of them. And I don't know how that happened. But yeah, so we got to watch it home, and that was great. And the offense looked decent. It looked better than it's looked in a while.
Yeah.
The defense looked great.
I'm loving the Alex Collins life.
Oh, God, yes. Almost as good as your Madden Alex Collins. Well, not quite as tall.
Not as quite as impenetrable, but...
Right. So we... everything looked good up and until the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
They have that 3 and out with like 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's too much time. That is too much time.
And your defense is gassed on the sideline.
They've been out on the field so much.
Right.
And Antonio Brown, unfortunately, put a hurt on, and that's what happens. And the Ravens lose Well, first of all, that's bad. That's bad.
I hate when the Ravens lose to the Steelers.
Yes. I really hate when they lose because they can't do more than a 3-and-out in the fourth quarter when they really need to put a drive together. And when Joe Flacco doesn't understand the rules of the game that he has played millions of dollars to play, which you disagree with, and that's fine. But when the ball is fumbled out of bounds, it is treated as a tackle.
I'm going to have to look up the rules of football.
This is when you choose to do it. We've been arguing about this for 24 hours, and you choose to do this now?
Well, because you're going to bring it up again on the podcast.
All right,
like it's this big, important point.
It is my understanding that when you fumble the ball out of bounds, it's treated as a tackle, which means as soon as the ball is set, the clock begins to wind. That makes 100% sense. Joe Flacco does not know this, and they set the ball, and then he gets into the huddle, and the clock runs out while they're in the huddle. And? Oh, hey, we have a couple of people listening live to the podcast. Rachel from the bathtub in the other room. And Roberto has joined us. Roberto, hello. Thank you for joining us. We all hate the Steelers. Yes, Roberto, except for you, who cheered for the Steelers until you realized that they might win, and then you didn't want to be on our bad side. So he knows that good. Oh, yeah. And the background, if you guys aren't watching at youtube.com/ODN,
you're missing out.
This by the way, if I can, I'm going to move out of the way. Do you see the cars moving in the background? Like
yeah.
You can actually see the highway from here.
Yeah, you can actually see the traffic.
Huh. Yeah, wave to the traffic out there.
I don't actually see it here.
So let's just accept that that's the rule because it is the rule. Ball fumbled out of bounds, it's not treated as running out of bounds, it's treated as a tackle. They don't give forward progress. That's the one thing you kept harping on, and I get that. But it's treated as a tackle, which means as soon as it's set, the clock winds. And they had to use a timeout on Jeremy Macklin's injury, and the clock runs out.
Yeah.
By the way, still had it down. Could have gone up and clocked it if they'd been paying attention.
If they had been.
If they had been lined up, let them set it and clock it, and then you get another play. But they didn't do that because Joe Flacco doesn't understand the rules of the game he's paid millions of dollars to play. I
see, again, the fact that Harbaugh, too, looked befuddled by it is one of the big things that, like,
I don't know if he was befuddled, but see, that's the problem. Was he befuddled by what happened, or was he befuddled because he's screaming into his mic, "Hike the ball! Hike the ball!" And Joe's like, "I'm getting to it, bro. I gotta call a play first." And then cool Joe just cool out there under pressure and fubs everything up.
Here's one thing I would like to say. I've come up with a brilliant piece of way of thinking about Joe Flacco this year.
Okay.
Everyone's been harping on Joe. And I understand why. It doesn't look good.
No.
It's looked way better the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
But what I've been hearing is that Joe's back injury was so bad that he hasn't been able to throw passes deep down the field like he normally does.
Right.
And he looked clearly rusty at the beginning of the season, like he hadn't been playing football.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about it like this. Imagine instead of Joe Flacco being the 10-year veteran that he is, you treat him with the back injury like he was a rookie quarterback, and you had to work slowly up you had to work the playbook in.
Okay.
Until he got up to game speed, and then as soon as he is showing that he's comfortable and able to do it, that's when you open up the whole playbook. And this last couple weeks has been them opening up the playbook.
And he had the long pass downfield for the touchdown in the second quarter, so that was nice. It was nice to see that see them doing that again. And that certainly opened up the run game because when you have the threat, it definitely opens it up. But that doesn't change the fact that in the fourth quarter, when you need to just get first downs, you can't get first downs.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely disheartening. I heard on another podcast that I listened to them describe the Ravens as a good bad team.
Yes.
They're a bad team that happens to be better than the other bad teams.
And they may make the playoffs.
Yeah. Right now they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The season starts today. But, I mean, it's I don't feel particularly confident about them going on some – especially, I mean, it's the story of the last two Ravens seasons with injuries that couldn't possibly – would have sank any other team.
Yeah. The interesting thing is we might have the same discussion we had last year.
Because we have guards playing at tackle. We have
we may have the same discussion we've had before, which is if a team from the NFC South or something gets in at 8-8, should we shift this to just be the 8 best teams get to go into the playoffs? Because right now the Ravens are only
12
best teams
get
to go into the playoffs. Because right now there are some teams that are winning their divisions that have a worse record than the Ravens.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have no chance at the Steelers at 11-2 now. Like, right? 11-2. Yeah, they have the best record in the National
I think so.
Football League.
Yeah.
So we have no chance of winning the division, but we may finish 3 games up on some teams that win their division and then have to go in. And once again, Baltimore plays in one of the toughest divisions.
If we do end up playing the Chargers in that first round,
Yeah.
we probably will have a better record than the Chargers when that game is played. So.
And they will have won their division with that record.
And they get the home field.
Yeah, Roberto has just joined us. Yes, Roberto, unfortunately, we talked about the auto show. What you should really do is keep an eye out on all your social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, because we always send out a notification saying, hey, we're about to go live.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you'll be able to see that notification and come join us at youtube.com/OD Anthem, where we always broadcast live. It just happens to be after dark today. So, moving on to more national news.
Yeah.
Although the Ravens loss should be national.
And by national news, we mean local news.
Well, wait, which one are you going to? What are we talking about?
The election that will be happening.
Oh, I mean, we can talk about that if you like. I was going to go to something else, but that's all right. So, yeah. So, there's an election happening today, if anybody didn't know that.
If you're listening on Tuesday, the day it was released, and
why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
Yep. So, if you're in Alabama and you're listening to this, go vote!
Please!
Yes.
Unless you're going to vote for Roy Moore, don't vote.
No, I mean, go. Because what I'd like to do is a year from now, get the roster of who everybody voted for.
Yeah.
And just,
Start purging the list based off of that.
I didn't say that. Corey said that. Corey at OTheAnthem.com. But I fully back that statement, actually.
Yeah.
It's not just Corey. I back that statement. We should be purging them not from the voter rolls, but from the planet Earth if you're going to go out and vote for Roy Moore.
It's funny. I was reading stories about the Alabama voter ID laws and stuff like that, where they required you to have a driver's license to be able to vote in the election. And then they closed all the DMVs in historically black communities
31,
in Alabama.
31 DMVs closed, and they were all in counties where there was 75% or greater black voters.
Yeah. So.
Ridiculous. And like
by the way, if you may live in Los Angeles or New York or some other major metropolis where DMVs are plentiful, but in Alabama, it's not like that. You've got to go quite a ways.
Even in Maryland, the closest one for most of the Eastern Shore is Easton.
Yeah.
So you have to. I mean, it was close for me at a half-hour drive away.
Right.
But imagine if you were in Ocean City, you're driving an hour and 15 minutes to go to the DMV.
Right.
Or the MBA there, but
yeah,
same thing. So the U.S. Department of Transportation said, no, you can't close these DMVs because you're clearly doing it on a race basis. But unfortunately, the problem is that instead of closing them, they just reduce services in hours, which gets around the law about not closing them. But if you, work for a living and you can't go there between 10 and 2.
You can't go there Tuesdays at 11 to 1.
Yeah. Then it's a bit of a problem. And, you have to take a day off work to go to the DMV.
And if you don't get there right at 11, you're going to have to wait on a huge line of people.
Yes. And God hope you get through the line by 1 because those windows come down and that's it. That's all that she wrote. So the election, however, is between 2 candidates. Both of them have a history with little girls. This is what I've learned. Doug Jones, the Democrat, became famous in Alabama for what, Corey?
Defending a murdered little girl from the KKK?
No.
Oh. God. It was close, though, right?
So close. He prosecuted the bombers of the 6th Street Baptist Church that killed 4 little girls. And it took them 30 years to put the case together. And the 2 bombers were old men. And he was like, right is right. We are putting them on trial. He did what he had to do, and he convicted them, and both of them got prison sentences. Now, what's Roy Moore's history with teenage girls?
Well, he got banned from a mall.
Yes, he did. He did, in fact, do that.
And wrote messages in girls' high school yearbooks.
Which may or may not have been fraudulent, but yeah.
The latest I heard, and I haven't had time to double-check that, is that it probably isn't fraudulent, but it's okay.
No, probably not. So here's the deal. At 30... God, how long have we been here? We've been here a year, right? So at 32 years old, I was a practicing attorney.
Yeah.
On the Eastern Shore of Maryland, a rural area, probably similar to rural Alabama, I would imagine. Now imagine if I, a 32-year-old man who is a practicing attorney in that area, were to, go to the local high school and go trolling for girls. That would be what Roy Moore did.
Yeah.
But no, wait. It was 40 years ago, Corey.
Yeah.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
Our grandparents were running things back then, right?
No.
We're 30 years old. Like, that was just before. I'm going to be 34 in a month.
Yeah.
That was 6 years before I was born. And not quite 6 years, because it wasn't really 40. It's more like, it was like 37 years ago.
Yeah.
So just past my lifetime, which means my parents were running things. Not grandma. Not pre-segregation. It's Alabama, so yes, pre-segregation. But yeah, this is a very recent event. This is the late 70s and early 1980s.
Yeah.
He was trolling for 14 and 15-year-old girls at a high school, and this is okay. We're just going to say that this is okay.
Right.
And we're going to elect him to the Senate, where, by the way, this week, Senator Al Franken has now announced he's going to resign.
Yeah.
Because at some point...
And is Conyers going to resign too?
Or Conyers is probably going to resign too. But Franklin especially, because during his comedic career, he may have said or done things that were inappropriate, which he, by the way, admitted to, apologized for, had the apology accepted by the person, and basically considered the situation squashed. But it's too much. It happened in the past. We need him to step down from the Senate.
Yeah.
And instead, we're going to elect a 60-year-old man who, when he was 30, dated 14 and 15-year-old girls.
Right.
And I don't use the term dated lightly. He took these girls out. To whatever date. I mean, I don't imagine. What would you do in 1980? Like, go to the bowling alley? Like,
go get malteds?
Go get malted sodas? I mean, that makes it sound like it was the 50s, and maybe it was more okay then. But literally...
Then it was okay to date 14-year-olds.
No, because the argument was that, like, oh, my grandmother was pregnant at 15 and got married at 16. And yeah, it's Alabama, and I get it. Maybe that happens. But that was in the 40s.
Yeah.
Maybe the 30s and 40s.
Still, I feel like Alabama is sort of the place that time forgot, though. So
sure, but it was not like that. I mean, although our research showed that you can still marry your first cousins. In Alabama.
In California, too, though.
Yeah, weird. Weird. Did not expect that. But we forget.
There's a lot of California that's basically Alabama, though.
That's the thing. We forget that, like, Humboldt County is basically like marijuana Alabama. That's how it works. So we get spoiled by being in the city. But I can't... At last I saw the polls were a dead heat.
Yeah.
Between the man who prosecuted...
But to be fair, this is not an easy election to run polls on.
And this is an election where...
off-year, standalone election around Christmas time is not the easiest...
Which, by the way...
one to figure out. Especially with this one, because you have no idea how many Republicans are actually going to go out and vote for him, because the line is like, well, maybe I won't go.
Maybe I just won't go.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the hope, my only hope lies in the fact that there are a bunch of people who say in a poll, yes, I would vote for Roy Moore.
Yeah.
But when it comes time to be like, am I going to leave work early and miss out on getting paid to go vote for this dude?
Yeah.
Just don't go vote. And all of the inspired Democrats are going to be like, no, there is no way I am missing out on this. I have to go vote, and they go vote. But did you hear about the home connection, by the way, to this race? Andy Harris, our
good God,
esteemed representative from the District 1 in Maryland.
Still yours.
Still mine, yes. He sent a $1,000 check to Roy Moore for his election campaign. So, by the way, if you're living in District 1, your representative fully supports Roy Moore being a member of the U.S. Senate. And that alone should be enough.
Did he put this on Twitter or something like that?
Yes, it's on Twitter. He did it publicly at a fundraising event for himself. Yeah. So I don't... That's who you have voted for, District 1 in Maryland. Maybe next November we should be thinking about the person that we're representing. By the way, with the beard and the whole, like, creepy smile, he also kind of looks like a pedophile himself. So, I mean, maybe...
By the way, he's Andy Harris is really excited to announce his 7th teletown hall. Not an actual town hall where he gets yelled at in person.
Nope, wouldn't do it. Would not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not seeing it up here right now.
Wait, let me see.
Is there a chance he might have brought it down, or was this a while back?
No, it was this week. So he may have taken it down.
Yeah,
when
maybe
somebody pointed it out.
Maybe he didn't like the heat.
Yeah. So, hey, if you don't like the heat, Andy Harris, maybe don't do the stupid things to begin with. How about that?
Here's my thing. For people who have been listening for quite a while, you will know that at one point I was registered as a Republican because I like to vote in the Republican primaries in Maryland, where it was the decision became a lot more competitive. In Los Angeles, where I don't think there are Republicans, you're wasting your time registering as a Republican.
Right.
And registering as a Democrat is the way to go because then you can vote in their primaries, which is basically deciding who runs whatever you're voting for.
It's like when we lived in Baltimore City.
Exactly.
You know, if you're living in Baltimore City, don't even, why would you even register as a Republican?
And if there was an election while we lived in Baltimore City, I would have been a registered Democrat for the purposes of voting in the mayoral election or something.
Unlike Los Angeles, though, they don't hold elections every 3 months in Baltimore. They can barely keep themselves together to get an election on time.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's Mayberry. They're lucky when they have an election at all.
Yeah.
But perhaps you would say philosophically, I'm closer to the what you would think of as a Republican.
Oh, Republican. Sorry, I thought you were going a different direction with that.
Were you thinking I was going to say pedophile?
No, a little further to the right. A little further to the right than Republican.
No, yeah. Anywho,
go ahead. Oh,
hello.
Hey, yeah.
Nobody heard that. Just saw it.
How are you doing?
Hey, you over there.
Can't see what my hand's doing out there. Yeah. Anyway.
I am just fucking sick with how everyone is backing Roy Moore.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the GOP in the initial reports of what was happening to Roy Moore pulled their support.
Yeah.
And then in this last week have started bringing it back in.
Well, and trying to do it secretly too.
Yeah,
like
trying to
funding
act.
him.
Yeah, trying to act like they're not funding a pedophile.
Yeah,
and there are, like Mitch McConnell goes from I think he should probably drop out to let's let the people of Alabama decide. It's sickening. I decided not to vote for candidates over less.
Yes.
Like the whole reason I didn't vote for Trump or Hillary was over less.
Yep.
Than this. Yeah. Like I can't even imagine how I could possibly say to myself I would vote for Roy Moore.
But here's the thing. That the other candidate
even as a Republican leaning person.
Right. But in that national election, the other person was Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Who I also despise.
Right.
Doug Jones is who I would want to run in the national election against Donald Trump. Like, he is he's an intelligent lawyer. He has no baggage from before.
Yeah.
His baggage from before is prosecuting Klansmen
for
the murder of children.
And also, let's remember when the allegations first came live,
Yeah.
who Roy Moore blamed. He blamed the Democrats.
Yep.
He blamed the media.
Yep.
He blamed Republicans.
Yes.
He said the Republican Party is trying to do this
Yes.
to me because they don't like what me and Donald Trump are trying to do
Yes.
in making America great again, and they're trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
So their whole thing was it's everyone versus Roy Moore. Donald Trump. Yeah. Well, I mean, like by extension, I'm trying to help Donald Trump, but all these people who hate Donald Trump so much are coming after me with this nonsense.
Yep.
All this untrue shit.
Oh, and by the way, Democrats, I get it. I am an idealist to my core, and I say we need to stick by our guns, and what's right is right. But we are narrowly losing votes in the Senate.
Yeah.
And maybe forcing out Conyers and Franken are not the best decision right now.
Yeah.
Now we're lucky with both. In fact, I don't know who's Conyers' replacement going to be. Likelihood is probably a Democrat as well.
I could look it up.
Yeah. But
it depends on how. See, the problem is
they replace it.
States decide how they replace senators.
And in Minnesota, the governor replaces the senator. The governor is a Democrat, so the likelihood is another Democrat will be replaced. Thank God it's not Jesse Ventura still. Like, who knows who Jesse Ventura would put in there? But yeah.
By the way, just real quick while we're on Congress talk.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Sarah Huckabee Sanders and John Lewis?
No.
John Lewis made some sort of comment because Trump was going to visit like the Civil Rights Museum in Mississippi.
Yeah.
And said that it was completely and utterly inappropriate for Trump to visit the Civil Rights Museum.
Right.
And then when asked, when Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asked about it, she said, well, maybe maybe this guy doesn't know so much about civil rights and maybe he should go to the museum. At which point, pictures of him standing next to Martin Luther King were brought out.
By the way,
like, maybe this guy doesn't know much about civil rights.
There's an exhibit of him in the National Civil Rights Museum where there's a big picture of his head being cracked open in Selma, Alabama. By the way, Alabama hasn't changed that much, clearly. But nonetheless, so in Minnesota, they're going to probably get another Democrat in. So that is what it is. But you have Al Franken, who has seniority, who has done nothing but fight the good fight while he's there. And wait, all right, go ahead. Yeah. So how are they going to replace Conyers?
No. I don't know about that specifically. Okay. I was just looking. I couldn't remember where Conyers was based out of. It's Michigan. Okay. So maybe the reason why you're not hearing so much about Conyers getting out early is because Michigan is. I completely forgot his name. Is Rick Snyder, the guy who poisoned all of Flint.
That's right.
Who still has a job.
Yes. By the way,
still has a job. We all fucking just forgot about it.
Like, 500 days Flint's been without clean water.
Yeah.
And the governor's still there.
Yeah. No Puerto Rico either. No power for Puerto Rico. No water. Death toll might be over 1,000 when it's all said and done.
So we're going to continue the podcast, but I just want to return to my point that I've been making for the last couple of weeks. What does it all matter?
Yeah.
Because in the end, look, we got out Franken. We got out a guy who made...
LeBron James has done more for water in Flint than Rick Snyder has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ponder that one for a while. Anywho.
What does it all matter? So wait, so Roy Moore is up for election. Don't vote for him. If you're going to vote for Doug Jones, go to the polls and vote for him. But really, what does it all matter? Because who knows? Roy Moore may end up getting in. And then it's not like the Republicans are going to lean on him to get out.
Right.
They're not going to be like, listen, okay, you won.
Oh, there will be no investigation or anything. They'll say that the vote was the...
That was the investigation.
Yeah, much like when McConnell said we're not going to take a vote on the Supreme Court justice.
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
Merrick Garland.
Yeah. Yes. They said that the election would decide whether or not they wanted Merrick Garland.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
So anyway, but speaking of Roy Moore and Donald Trump also can't stay out of the news this week. And this is going to be a bit of a controversial topic, I feel like. If anything, this is going to drive some comments. And just to remind you, you can find Oh the Anthem on all your social networks. At Oh the Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You, of course, can email Corey@OhTheAnthem.com or send us a message at 443-219-7595. And I recognize that this is going to be controversial. If you'd like to send something directly to me, you can find it right there at Robert and Cheek at all your social networks. But this week, Trump announced that the position of the United States was officially changing to the capital of Israel, moving to the city of Jerusalem.
Yes.
And... Well, let's go. I'm going to say some controversial things.
Well, first,
let's hear from Corey.
Before we get into any controversy, can I ask you, because you would be the more appropriate one to know all the ins and outs of the history here.
Sure.
To give us in a nutshell, description of what's happening with the Israeli-Palestinian crisis and like why this is a big deal.
Okay. So,
I mean, you don't have to go through thousands upon thousands of years.
No, so basically what it comes down to is after the British left in 1948, the Zionists declared a state in Israel, and they established the State of Israel, whose official religion is Judaism, but they don't necessarily follow Judaism. What they follow is the political belief of Zionism, which is something different. And so I will wager my thoughts that are following this by saying I have nothing against Judaism, and using the term anti-Semite using the term anti-Semite is too general because technically that would apply to all the Semitic people.
I'm just winding it up for the most epic races.
And it's not being anti-Semitic. I do oppose Zionists, but I oppose fascists of all types, and Zionism is a type of fascism. Nonetheless, I am pro-Palestinian, and I believe in a two-state solution. And nothing has happened since 1948, but the slow creep of Israel pushing the Palestinians out of what was traditionally their homeland. And true, it was traditionally the homeland of the Jews as well, 4,000 years ago. Not any time recently. The Jews started coming back there during the beginning of and during the Holocaust. They went to Israel. They also went to America. And there are more Jews in America than there are in Israel right now.
Yeah.
Nonetheless. So, 22 years ago, as a sign of strength and unity with Israel, the House and the Senate passed a resolution that said that the United States recognizes that the capital of Israel is Jerusalem. Now, that is not the capital of Israel. The capital of the state of Israel is Tel Aviv. That is the city where all the Capitol buildings are. That is where they've been holding government since 1948 when they established their state. Why did they establish their capital there? Because Jerusalem was in Palestinian-held territory.
It was on the border.
Yes. And in fact, they split the city into East Jerusalem and Jerusalem, much like Kansas City, basically, because it was lying between two states. And they tried to divide it into the holy places of the Western Wall, which is theoretically the remaining Western Wall of the temple, is in Jerusalem, or West Jerusalem, and that's the holy site for Jews. And then the Dome of the Rock is in East Jerusalem, and that is a holy site for Muslims. And so let's divide the city in half. You keep your holy sites, I'll keep mine, and we'll call it a day. Now, the president, 22 years ago, in his infinite wisdom, which, if I'm doing my math correctly, see, I thought it was the first Bush, but now if I'm thinking 22 years, that was Clinton, actually. Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
That would have been Clinton. I thought it was the first Bush, so maybe not. So the president, nonetheless a Democrat in his infinite wisdom, said, so I'm going to pocket veto this. And that just means I'm going to stick it in a desk drawer and I'm not going to vote on it at all. And the Senate could have said after a certain number of days, all right, we're going to vote on it again. And if we get 66%, which is way less than what they had when they originally voted for it, it becomes law automatically. But the Senate is like, okay, we get to do the right thing, and this doesn't actually become an issue, so we're just going to let the pocket veto stand. And every 6 months they have to revote on it, or every few years they have to revote on it. And they do, and they always pass it. And the president...
cancel.
The president always pocket vetoes it. And then you get a crazy person in the White House who has a campaign promise that says that they're going to return the city of Jerusalem to Israel, which, by the way, it's already in Israel. It's already part of Israel, just not the entire city.
Yeah.
And it's not the capital. Because there's a shift in the geopolitical space when you say that the city that is supposed to be shared equally between these two religions is all of a sudden the capital of one of the countries.
Yeah.
There's just... You don't do that, you dumbass. You don't do that.
Yeah.
You don't do that because as soon as you announce it, then the subtle peace that has been in existence since 2011, the last time that hostilities were really exchanged, is blown up. And Hamas, the political party, and Hamas, the military wing, and all 111,000 other groups that consider themselves organized political and military groups say, okay, the peace is over. The Intifada is back, and we're going to have all-out war again. So because the American president does something stupid, people die in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And for no reason, for no good reason. For no good reason. Everything has been in a state of...
It's just to rile tensions, really.
Just to rile tensions. And seemingly to get the spotlight off of him and other, like the Russia investigation, really, to try and shift it to something else. And wouldn't a nice war in the Middle East get the attention off of Israel or off of Russia and the United States? Or maybe Donald's been doing a little bit of reading in his Bible and he's embracing this whole being the Antichrist thing, and he's just trying to bring about the end times. Yeah, because I don't understand. I have to imagine that all of his advisors are standing around him before he goes out there to make this announcement. It's like, Mr. President, please, you have to understand the ramifications from this are insane. We cannot do this. You cannot do this. And he's like,
He'd probably say the same thing about like any time where like he's, Trump sitting in the office with his phone just like typing away, and he's just like, hey, I'm going to call Kim Jong-un Rocket Man. No. It's like, please don't do that. Yeah. Like, what good comes of this? Like, it's like, oh, tell me he's a little rocket man. That's what good comes of it.
It's the butler talking to Richie Rich. Yeah. Like, sir, I don't know if it's a good idea if you do that. And he's just like, I do what I want.
Yeah, I'm a rich guy. That's what I do.
Yeah, so, I don't... I believe that Israel has a right to exist.
Yes.
They as a country have a right to exist. But they don't have a right to create an apartheid situation with a group. They became a country. They got the support of the United States and of the international community because of the Holocaust that happened against people of their faith in Europe. So we found them a safe place to go. And the 1948 war, the 1954 war, the 1967 war, the 1974 war, all of these were supported. The Europeans in the West supported Israel because they were defending their homeland against Arab intrusion. On behalf of the Palestinians, by the way, but nonetheless, defending Arab intrusion. And whatever you may think of that, that's fine. But they don't have the right to keep second-class citizens in their country. We did that for a long time, and who are we to say? But we've learned the lessons of that. And Israel has not learned the lessons. Like, they have concentration camps. Camp 5 in Jenin is a concentration camp for political dissidents, where people of a religion who they don't like get stuck in a place. And if they do get out, the rest of the time that they are alive and living in Palestine or in Israel, they have to wear a patch that identifies them as a political dissident. What does that sound like?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Also,
And
just as an aside, if you think that this doesn't have insane ramifications, make it about something that doesn't matter and see how much it escalates.
Yeah.
So, for instance, let's just say I'm the governor of New York, and I say, we've had it with this bullshit for long enough. New York City is the cultural landmark of New York.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks of New York as New York City. They don't think about it as Albany or Syracuse or anything like that. That's an afterthought. New York City is the new capital of New York. You know who freaks out? Everyone who doesn't live in New York City.
Right.
Because they feel like they have some sort of power over their government because it's not located within the walls of New York City and therefore cannot be felled by the New York political elite.
Yeah.
Who hold their own sort of power in this.
Almost equal to the state.
But
now
because
you've
they're
given them
so far away, they
Yeah.
can't exercise this power quite the same as they could if New York City was the capital of
Yep.
New York. Now, in the long run, if New York decided to make New York City the capital of New York, does it really matter all that much? Who knows? It doesn't really.
Do the farmers organize and march on Albany? Maybe.
Yeah, but
Maybe they do.
even if in the long run it means nothing.
Yeah.
It just gets everybody angry for no good reason.
Yes.
Like, so
Now imagine there's 5,000 years of history and a lot of weapons
Yeah.
involved in this.
right.
That's essentially what's happened. But just so it's clear, I'm pro-Palestine. Free Gaza and free the West Bank. And two-state solution is always the way. So let's come up with a two-state solution. And by the way, can we 45th Amendment this idiot out of office already? It cannot happen. It cannot happen soon enough. Honestly, I don't know what else he's going to do to try to distract away from his own problems. But causing a war that's going to kill thousands of innocent people just seems like.
Well, if they're going to do it, if they're gonna employ the 26th and get him out of office,
That'd be the 45th. What did I say? No, it is.
you said the 45th
Yeah,
because he's the
definitely.
45th.
That is exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
26th is what you're
Yes.
thinking about. By the way, just as a side, Roy Moore also said that we don't need any amendments after the 10th.
Yeah.
Things started getting complicated once we started adding more amendments.
Yeah. Oh,
now,
wait.
I guess you could make an argument that some of them are a little bit unwieldy. I could hear your arguments
Sure.
on a couple of them.
18th,
I mean,
prohibition.
Yeah.
21st undoes the 18th. These
Yeah.
are a waste of amendments. 13th, who needs that? 13th Amendment. 13th Amendment made it constitutionally.
the look I
illegal.
gave you, I hope, is uncomfortable enough to.
13th Amendment makes it unconstitutional to hold another person in slavery unless they are imprisoned.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, watch the movie The 13th because it explains how prison populations are basically modern slavery. 14th Amendment. We are
Equal
all
rights.
equal under the
Yep.
law. Yeah. 15th Amendment.
I can't remember them all.
16th Amendment.
Nope. I know the
21st?
I know the 26th. That's the one I'm hanging on to.
26 is the one that we really need. Yeah. So, and yes, there's a lot of, by the way, the amendments between there are the ones that are like, here's a court case, and if you don't like it, pass an amendment. And Congress is like, all right, here's an amendment.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, yeah, Roy Moore. Can we have enough reasons for that not
Yeah.
to be? And if you're worried about amendments,
But I would really like them to exercise the 26th right now.
yes,
Because we have an FCC vote
yes,
that is coming up very shortly, and I would like it if Trump and all his loonies would just go.
yeah, get him out.
We are now at the point where the original gangsters of the internet as
Yes.
they're being called,
The fathers of the
the
internet.
OGs of the internet,
Yeah.
are out in full force trying to protect net neutrality. We got Woz out there. Woz standing up on a political position, which is about as unusual as it gets.
And the guys who basically are saying, we never do this. We never.
Please.
The threat is so great.
We've never decided to stand up as one against
Yes.
a threat against the internet, but now we do.
Yeah.
The overlords of the internet have gathered together today.
Yeah.
To say this is a really fucking stupid idea, and there's no undo button for this one. That's the biggest problem.
Yep.
So maybe you are listening to me and you are the CEO of Verizon, and I understand why you want net neutrality rules to be getting rid of. But unfortunately, most people are not the CEO of Verizon
No, funny enough.
or
We're not.
Time Warner or wherever else you may get your internet goods. So how about we not fuck up the thing that we can't get back?
Yes.
Because I feel like, honestly, it feels like if we pass net neutrality restrictions and allow there to be fast and slow lanes on the internet, then the only way we're ever going to get back to where we should have been to begin with is to just burn the whole fucking thing to the ground.
Oh, you mean nationalize it and make it all one?
No, I'm just saying, like, we start over with a new country.
Oh, the country itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with that too, actually. So really, either way.
You know, it's funny, when Trump was running, we were joking around about how there's at least an outside shot that Trump brings the end of the union as we know it.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just happening at a lightning pace.
Yeah.
Maybe 2018 is the year that the government falls.
But so I've been talking about the entire time that this how little this means, and here's how little it means basically, because you can call your senators, you can call your congressmen, they don't even have to do anything because the FCC is making these rules. It's part of rulemaking, and the federal rulemaking says Congress, as long as Congress doesn't act, then the FCC gets to do whatever they want to do. So the president doesn't have to do anything. Congress doesn't have to do anything. They just let it go, and the FCC makes rules, and we're done. That's it. Now, if we invoke the 26th and we kick everybody out, then a new president could appoint a new FCC chair. And they could say, hey, we're going to do rulemaking from the beginning again. And then you start this whole net neutrality process over again, which is really the only hope that we have, because otherwise, the age of the free internet is over.
Right.
And the likelihood that you get to see this podcast anymore is probably low. Because what's the likelihood that anyone's going to be able to, or we're going to be able to upload at the rate that we usually upload, or stream like we are right now?
See, here's the thing. I feel like the internet service providers are not going to be dumb with how they handle this power.
I think you're wrong.
I think they're going to sneak it in a little bit at a time, just to see how the waters fare.
Well, no, because everybody's addicted. They will do.
No.
do it all
I'm
at once and we're
not
fine.
saying they won't abuse the power that they're given.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you'll hear a lot of, like, number one, you've heard all the companies prior to any FCC changes coming out saying, like, we're not going to change the way the internet's working. Don't worry, we're fine.
Yep.
Like, that's not the case. They're all lying to you.
Yes.
But what I imagine you will see is you'll probably see, like, some sort of, like, bonus extra that will be made available to you.
Okay. Like, you can pay for better.
Yeah, like, Comcast will give you an option. Hey, for an extra $10 a month, we'll give you an extra 10 gigs of speed or something like
How
that.
about this? For an extra $10, we'll give you the speed we promised you when you signed up at the beginning.
Right, exactly. And it'll be like little bits and pieces, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, all right, so our premium service includes all of the internet, but the basic service only includes Breitbart.
Yes.
And then Breitbart and Facebook, and it's just like, well, that's all I need. So I just need news and Facebook. That's all.
And for most of America, that's it. That's actually where they get their news from. News from Breitbart and Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so, I mean, listen, everyone's tired. I know everyone has my mentality of like, just fuck it all. Who cares? You can continue to call your senators if you want. The other thing that you can do is to burn this motherfucker to the ground. That's my prefer. That's what I'd like to prefer.
And after the acquittal that we saw this past week,
getting a little closer,
getting a little bit. It's just another tisk in the powder keg.
Did they?
Like where it's like. Just like one more little.
They didn't release the video until after the verdict.
No,
right?
because it might have
inflamed people.
Inflamed people.
All right, so first good news.
At least we saw it, though. At least we saw the video of a grown man crying and begging for his life on the floor of a motel.
There were 2 verdicts this week.
Yeah.
One of them, very positive. Now, it took 2 trials to get it. It took a acquittal and then the state appealing it and then getting a new trial and then conviction. So it took 2 trials. But the murderer of Walter Scott, who was wearing his gang colors at the time and tried to use the excuse of self-defense.
Even though Walter Scott was running away from him.
Yes. And then who dropped a weapon next to the body in order to try and get away with it and would have had it not been recorded by a third party. Sorry. I said gang colors, but what I meant was it blue and gold tin
police
badge.
uniform.
He's a police officer, yes. Yeah. So he was convicted, and I believe he got 20 years. So he'll be spending the rest of his natural life, most likely, in prison.
Unless he gets out on good behavior.
Well, no. So he's got a minimum of 10. And let's be honest, he's a cop in jail.
Yeah, true.
So I'm not sure how well that's going to fare for him. And you know what? He deserves nothing. They'll
probably put him in some lesser prison too, just for that reason.
Well, and he'll be protected while he's in there. They'll
Yeah.
put him in ADSEG the entire time, and then the guards will be his best friends. But maybe if they get to him, maybe if the power goes out, if they can just get into him just once. That'll be it. And he'll get a flavor of what he did to Walter Scott. So, nonetheless, the good news is he's going to jail, and justice has in some ways been done. Not in South Carolina, where they have the death penalty, and I think that would have been a fitting punishment.
Yeah,
you're not pro death penalty, so I'm not going to ask you. But
how do you know I'm not pro death penalty?
What's that?
I've said before I'm pro death penalty,
especially for cops who kill innocent civilians, right?
Well, my standard has always been the death penalty should be used on obvious cases where it's clear that there's no changing thing. Like if somebody kills 4 people, then that should be a death penalty case.
Or a guy under the color of state law murders someone by shooting him in the back.
I'm saying that definitely puts on an escalator.
Okay.
But I don't know if that cop had shot 2 people who were running away from him, then perhaps the death penalty would be appropriate in that case.
So I'm going to ask you straight out.
So
right
rather
now.
than 4 people for a civilian, 2 people for a cop should be.
I'm going to put you on camera right now. Would you have given the murderer of Walter Scott the death penalty?
No.
You can look at the camera right now to all our viewers and listeners and tell them no, you would not.
No, I wouldn't. But Walter Scott shouldn't have gotten the death penalty for what he did either.
Yeah, but he did.
Yeah.
And there's no.
And you know what? Here's the other thing.
He didn't get the justice of a trial.
Hold on. Moving over to Daniel Schaefer for just a second here. The other side of this.
The evil part of it.
I like that in the week since the verdict has come out, that there has been a lot of people who have traditionally organized with Black Lives Matter, because obviously Black Lives Matter is not like a group with a membership, so it's not like...
Wait, no, it's a terrorist group.
Well, yeah, clearly.
It's like Al-Qaeda. It has a membership, and there's like a whole...
Them and Antifa.
Yes.
Just causing all this problem with their Colin Kaepernicks and their nonsense.
Yes.
People who have traditionally aligned themselves with Black Lives Matter, I'm going to put it out there in that manner, have been just as outraged about the killing of Daniel Schaefer as they have with any case I've seen so far.
Yeah.
The same level of outrage that I saw from Sean King at Freddie Gray is the same level of outrage I've seen from him over Daniel Schaefer.
Yep.
Daniel Schaefer is white. He was a exterminator who had a airsoft gun that he used to kill rats with in his hotel room.
Yes.
And somebody called the police on him, which is, again, just a lesson to y'all. Never call the fucking police.
Never call the fucking police.
Don't look through a window and go like, oh my God, does that guy got a gun? Don't call the cops.
Get the fuck out of there.
Just don't worry about it. It's not none of your business.
Mind your business. Mind your business.
Because if you didn't call the cops, then that guy wouldn't be dead.
Yeah.
This is essentially how it goes.
That's how it works.
Yeah. But all the traditional
all lives matter?
All the traditional Black Lives Matter people have been fully in support of what has happened here. And like they wanted to see justice done.
Yep.
But all the people who had previously been saying all lives matter are now, well, this cop was obviously in danger and didn't.
Yes.
Was terrified for his life as he was screaming instructions at the man who was down on his on his stomach wearing basketball shorts.
Yes.
And the part that alarmed me, you watched the video, I'm sure, right?
Many times.
The part that alarmed me the most about it was the fact that the cop kept screaming, if you don't follow my instructions, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Which
really
is
takes the pressure
clearly, how is that? How are you making a claim that you're killing him in self-defense because you were worried about the safety of you and your officers when you're telling him ahead of time,
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
Yes. If you make a mistake, I'm going to kill you.
And that was the other thing. He said, if you make a mistake, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And
by the way, while you have an AR-15 pointed at him and he's in basketball shorts and a shirt with his hands up crawling on the floor.
Right. And some pieces of evidence that didn't make it to court included the fact that the officer in question on the barrel of his AR-15 had "You're fucked" engraved on the side of it.
Yep.
So this is just one of those friendly, everyday good cops who
carried an AR-15.
Carries an AR-15 that says "You're fucked" on it.
Yeah.
So, and this is the one again, like, I didn't. Going back to the beginning of the episode, I didn't vote for Mitt Romney because I didn't like where he was going with things. I just didn't think he would be a good choice.
Yeah.
Mitt Romney was not good enough for me to vote for. So why would I vote for Roy Moore if Mitt Romney wasn't good enough for me?
Yeah.
In this case, if there is let's go back to the narrative that was around for the Michael Brown thing, where they were scrambling for the gun in the car and everything like that,
which isn't true.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there was enough narrative around that they brought up the level of reasonable doubt, which is at the end of the day the standard that you're trying to set.
No, because he didn't make it to trial. That was in the grand jury.
That's true. But I'm saying like
preponderance. But yes, let's assume.
Let's just say it went to court. Let's just say. The reasonable doubt threshold would probably not have been reached with all the conversations that would be had about
Michael Brown
scrambling for guns and fighting for it, blah 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 blah. Get it? It's not an easy one to prosecute.
Yeah.
Philando Castile, I felt very like, how the fuck did that one get by?
Yeah.
How the fuck did how do you not charge? How do you not find him guilty for that one? Okay.
How do you not charge him for that one?
Yeah.
He didn't get charged either.
Oh, that's right. He didn't. I thought I could have swore he did. And,
nope. Didn't even go to the grand jury.
That's right. Damn.
Yeah. No charges.
Yeah. And now this one, which just seems like the most. I don't understand. I have cop friends. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine what they could possibly say to explain away this. Like how he
was in fear. What if that guy had a gun? What if when his basketball shorts are falling down, he had an AR-15 tucked into the back of those pants and he pulled
I don't even know guns, and I don't think he would be able to have that.
Nope. He had basketball shorts on. How would you have any gun in them? How is any gun staying in
You could have
pants?
like one of those little tiny like pea shooters, right?
Yeah. And by the way, the guy was
like
wearing...
the one that ladies put in their handbags at night.
No, it still weighs 4 pounds, and he's wearing basketball shorts.
Yeah.
It's not like he could stay up. I mean, did he have like the groin holster? Like, how is it staying on his leg?
He's got a dick holstered.
Yeah,
that shouldn't make fun. He's dead.
Anyway, so, but how would they justify it? How can you imagine them justifying it?
I couldn't. That's the thing. I can't even think of a way. Like, if I was now I listen to Garrigo still. Yeah, I know you've soured on that whole thing.
Yes.
But I don't get how you watch the video and you think that he didn't do anything wrong.
I don't know how...
To be honest, I don't know how you don't look at him and don't think, this guy is a fucking lunatic.
Yes. I don't know
like,
how
he just has the
lynched.
face of a lunatic. He's like...
I have a little mic problem.
Yeah. He looks like Aaron Hernandez.
Yes, he does.
If everything went wrong, which is horrible to say because things went way worse with Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Just as a...
No, but There is no justification. You will never be able to convince me that there was anything right about that. Both officers are shouting at him. One of them is literally repeating, "If you make a mistake, I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
And they're shouting different things at him. One is saying, "Come forward." The other one's saying, "Crawl forward." So he's on his knees, and he goes to put his hands down. They're like, "Hands up, hands up!" And he puts his hands back up. He starts to move, and the jersey shorts get caught under his knee. They start to pull down, and as he leans over at another instruction, he reaches back to grab his shorts so they don't fall off.
Let me
and
ask
shoot him in the top of the head and the neck.
Let me ask you this. I'm not a gun person.
Yes.
Nor am I the type of person who you would usually look at to come up with your gun safety, or like how you would approach somebody with a gun.
Yes.
But bear with me. What if they said, "Get out in the hallway," and then he got out in the hallway. Get down on your knees. He gets down on his knees. Get on your stomach. He gets on his stomach. Spread your arms and legs as far as you can and stay still.
Yep.
Do not move. And then you come up and you have the cover.
No, wait,
and you have your gun.
How about this? How about you pull your stun gun out?
Oh yeah, well I mean that would be great too. But I'm saying
wait.
let's say
The officer who was holding the AR-15 that says "you're fucked" on the side,
Yeah.
not qualified with the stun gun.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay, so
They'll
that's
give
why he
him
had
an
the gun.
AR-15.
Yeah.
They won't give him a stun gun.
Cool. Good
Yeah.
to know. So he's on the ground, all spread out.
Yeah.
Walks up with the gun.
Yeah.
And then goes and checks him.
Or
Handcuffs him.
One covers, the other takes
Handcuffs, and then figure out and then nothing's happening, right?
Yeah.
Like why are all these commands being yelled at him from across the hallway? Like, put your left leg underneath your right and cross the one over the other. And it's just like if you get pulled over doing 30 and a 25,
Yeah.
your heart starts beating too fast.
Yep.
You start going like, oh my God, what the hell is going to happen here? You start wondering about like if you're going to get some massive ticket for this.
Yeah.
And when the officer comes up and starts asking you questions that maybe it's a question that isn't out of the realm of possibility, but something you weren't imagining you would have to answer.
Is there a body in the trunk?
Or like, where are you going tonight? Nowhere. Well, why are you out? I mean, I was just going to get cigarettes and coming back home. Oh, so you were going somewhere. Like they use that against you.
Wait.
They use
ask me where I'm going.
Where are you going?
Just over here to this place called None of Your Fucking Business, Cop. Give me my fucking ticket.
Oh, it's just a little blaze called "Fuck Your Mother."
Anyway, yeah. But no, could they have done that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the whole where I think you were going there was when they tell you to get out of the car after you've now been stopped, and it's like, all right, driver, hands out of the window, open the window or open the door from the outside.
Yeah.
Step out with your left foot, and I'm like, you have to think, okay, which one's my left? Okay.
Yeah.
That's my left foot out. Okay. Now move your right foot out while maintaining your hands outside the. Why?
Yeah.
And maybe I get it in the car because you don't want to approach the car, but when he's in a hallway of a hotel, and they like, I
never felt threatened by that guy for a second.
No, I mean even though you know what's happening, you can look at it and say. And by the way, the woman who they like allow to walk out 7 or 8 steps and then go to her knees and then they walk up to her and grab her.
Right.
She's fine.
Yeah.
But he is the dangerous one.
Yeah.
For some reason. So here's the key: if you're going to kill cops,
also another
put the gun
thing
on the woman because that's the way to kill cops.
The other part that I thought about in the video, and it's something that I haven't heard brought up yet, but I'm just going through the human psychology of the moment.
Sure.
After they shoot Daniel Schaefer and offer no medical attention,
right?
Go directly to the door.
And then cuff him. By the way, when they come back, cuff him when they come out.
But when they walk past him, just a dead body on the floor, and go to the door, the one cop is trying to dip the key card in.
Card! And we need a card!
And can't get it working. They do it like 10 or 15 times. And in my head, I can see the officer wants to kick the fucking door down.
Oh, yeah.
He wants nothing more than just do the move like, get out, everybody down.
You see him like, he's like getting antsy.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
But also, I can also sort of like sense in him that he knows he's not covered if he does that.
Yeah.
If he kicks that door down, then he's going to have to pay for that hotel door.
Yep.
Because Mesa PD is not going to do it for him.
And they've got a key card. He's just got to wait for it to work.
Right. So he's got to just stand there. He's just like, let me fucking kick this door down. Like, but he's not doing it because he doesn't want to pay for the damage. But he knows he's not going to get in trouble for the guy he just shot.
Yeah.
So there's no, he doesn't have to, he can use safe judgment when he gets to the door and he's got to wait for the key card to work. But he can't use that same judgment seconds earlier when he shot that guy. I've 5 times too.
Well, you got to keep in mind when you pull the trigger once, it's a 3-round burst. So
yeah.
Pop, pop, pop. Unless he hit it on single fire, then he literally pulled the trigger 5 times.
Yeah.
So maybe, or he shot 6 bullets and missed 1 time from 8 feet away. Which then again, why do you have to give this man a firearm?
Why can't you just like shoot him with like a pepper bag in the face or something like that?
Because if he didn't qualify for the stun gun, you don't get to go up to more likely to be lethal weapons. The stun gun is the least likely to be lethal weapon.
Yeah.
Once you do that, then they give you like the pepper ball airsoft gun.
Yeah.
And then they give you like
the one that Daniel Schaefer was using to kill rodents in Walmarts.
Well, actually, the one that the police have is way more powerful than the one that he had.
Yeah, true.
And then after that, you go up to the rubber bullets because that's more likely to be lethal. By the way, you don't qualify for that. You don't get to use it, but they still give you an AR-15 with "you're fucked" carved into the barrel. I don't understand it. But I've said
Also, if I was back in Nelson's,
yeah,
and somebody that I worked with came in and they were just like, "Hey, I just got a new tattoo." I'd be like, "Oh, nice, let me see it." And they pulled up their arm and they just said, and it just was like in like old English text, like, "I like to put my dick in between pit beef sandwiches."
Yeah.
I would just be like, "All right, I think we have to have a conversation about what
I don't think you're going
what
to be allowed
this
to work here.
tattoo means."
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm a little unnerved, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the cop comes in to the squad room. He's just like, "Hey, look what I just did to my AR-15. Had "you're fucked" engraved in the side." It's just like, oh man, I bet you can't wait to shoot a black guy. Like, what logic even happens during the?
I guarantee you, everyone in that squadron was like, "That is fucking awesome. Yeah. Where did you get that?
Who did that for you?
Don't you do it, John. John, don't you do it. This is mine.
This is mine. I'm the only one who gets the "you're fucked" AR-15.
Yeah. My question is this: after that video comes out, after he's been acquitted and the video hits, how is Mesa not burned to the ground?
Yeah.
How does every person in that city not automatically fear that they're going to be murdered?
I would have been this close, by the way, if I would have heard on the news like people are gathering in Mesa. I might just fucking drive there and just be a part of it. What the fuck do I care? That was ridiculous.
Yeah. Except
close,
for you might get
close
murdered
enough.
by the police.
Even being white doesn't save you.
Yeah, not in Mesa.
Yeah. Let that be a lesson to all you people who weren't concerned about the police before.
I mean, it's really messed up that we have to say that, but that's the way it is. Like, yes, Black Lives Matter is really upset about this.
Yeah.
But they're always upset when the police kill people.
Yeah.
I'm really appalled at the people in between the two groups we talked about. By the way, All Lives Matter. They're just a bunch of ass kissers for the police. They don't really care. They're going to defend the police. It doesn't matter. But the people in the middle who are like, "No, wait a minute. Are you telling me he killed a white man and he got away with it? That's just a bridge too far." But they don't literally. They're not really saying that. They're just like, "This is too much. This is too much." When you've been watching cops execute young black men for the last 3 years and you've totally been okay with it. I don't understand. Like that one really just pushes me even worse. We've been saying about the Baltimore Police Department for like the last 2 years, but you just need to disband all the police departments. Just disband all of them.
Yeah.
Because I think that the old adage about being president is right. If you want the job, you probably shouldn't have the job. The guy I want to be a police officer is the guy who is like...
The guy who's forced to do the job?
Yeah. Just like, I don't want to do this. But I will give you the training. You'll be trained. And I'm split. Because the one side I say yes, the guy who doesn't want the job, but then he's going to be more scared than the guy who actually wants the job.
Yeah.
The other side of that is maybe I don't know, we've got 3.5 million vets out there who are used to being shot at and who, in general, use force way less than the bully from your high school who shot up Daniel Shaver in the hallway of a hotel. So, I mean, maybe that's the answer. Maybe the answer is fire everybody, hire a bunch of vets, give them like nice screening so we know that their PTSD isn't an issue and they're ready to go, and then go in and be like, okay, I trust you with a gun. Because what I really want to see is the cop who, like, the guy's like shaking and pow, pow, and he's like misses twice, and then the cop hits him with a stun gun and puts him down.
Yeah.
That is what I expect from a police officer. Like, not shooting a guy on his hands and knees.
Well, not only that, but like, I don't understand why I haven't seen my reaction. If I saw somebody coming at me and I felt nervous, maybe I didn't see a gun, but I was worried that they might have a gun, and I had a gun.
Yeah.
My first thought is, I'm going to shoot that fucker in the knee.
It's a lot harder to hit people in the knee than you think.
Or anywhere where there's body mat. Like, I'll hit him in the hip or something like that.
No? Center mass. Everybody gets trained to shoot center mass. Center mass, right?
But I mean, like, if you're trained with the gun, you should be able to hit somebody.
No, are you crazy?
I don't know.
You never shot a gun before.
No, I've shot a gun. I've never had to shoot somebody in the knee before. Right. Maybe
it's insanely difficult.
Okay,
it's fine, Dave, whatever. Like a year ago, you were like, "Why didn't you just shoot the gun out of the guy's hand?" It's really hard to do that. You have no idea.
All right, whatever.
But nonetheless, if my first reaction in that situation is get on the ground and don't move. Get on the ground and don't move. Exactly what you said. Spread eagle. Keep your legs apart. Keep your hands. If you move your hand, I'm going to shoot you in the face. That's an easy thing to follow. Yeah. Stay flat. Don't move. Yeah. I'm going to come up next to you. John, you watch him. And then I'm going to come up and I'm going to handcuff you. And then I'll search you. You don't have to move and we're all safe. Now, that's still fucked up. And it is what it is. Like, it's America and you shouldn't be treated like that.
Yeah.
But stop snitching. Stop snitching, people.
Yeah, seriously. Never call the cops. We saw some guy driving the wrong way on the 110. Yeah. And
took video.
Well, I don't know. I literally thought about that.
Yeah.
After it happened, I was just like, I'm not calling the cops.
No.
They're gonna have to just catch him doing some shit. And even though it's dangerous for the other people, I just don't. I can't do it.
Is it worth ending his life? If you saw that SUV,
I mean, he could just end up crashing into something anyway.
He could
and dying. But I'm saying, like,
But if you saw that SUV shot up on the news tomorrow, where he didn't comply and the LAPD put 115 rounds in the car, how would you feel if you were the one who?
Oh, I'd feel terrible.
Yeah,
I feel responsible.
I would feel responsible for his death.
Yeah,
because like, listen, maybe he would have made it home, maybe not.
I mean, like, if I was the person in the parking lot who spotted Daniel Shaver silhouette style with a gun, and I found out that he died because of that shit,
you gave him a death sentence.
Yeah,
that is it. You ended his life by involving the police.
Yeah. So
when he's by himself in his fucking hotel room, maybe he likes to look at it and masturbate. Who knows? People are into weird things, all right?
The police do the same thing. I don't know why it's so weird when he does it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
God.
None
of it matters. Sorry. Go ahead.
You know where the best place to masturbate is?
Where is that?
OTheAnthem.com. OTheAnthem.com. OTheAnthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And real quick, before we move over to Rob, I realize that I haven't been properly promoting myself as well. Mm-hmm. You've been going into your thing. We just go right into it. So at LegendCB5 on all your social networks. And you can check out my website, where there will be a new blog entry this week at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com. CoreyBakerFilmmaker.
And I think you debuted something brand new this week, didn't you?
I might.
Didn't you already debut something on Facebook this week about your website?
Oh, the new logo. That's right. I totally forgot it. I put it on the background on my phone. I like it so much. I did that today. So yeah, I got a new logo. It's
it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So check it out at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com.
Well, I mean, you want to go to the Facebook page or the Instagram or something like that, but it's out there. Hold on. Be just 1 second. Oh, so many fucking Disney pictures. Here you go.
And look for the new blog entry this week.
Deep. Yeah, you can see
Okay.
the whole thing in a better context on the internet.
All right. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm done.
And you can find me on our social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to my political blog, foundingthefuture.us, the news website.
Are we done?
It went down for a second. It's back up, though.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a little low.
Okay.
But it's all right. Yeah, see, it's a little...
I saw the red, so I was just a little worried.
Yeah. Oh, wait. And you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com where you can find links to my political blog, foundingthefuture.us, the news website, deaddrop.com, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Barrow's books.
And make sure you check out, I got a couple of new videos coming this week, so make sure you check those
Yes,
out.
we buried the lead on that a little bit, but there's a new
yeah.
there's a new review site or a new review show on YouTube that's sweeping the nation.
Sweeping the nation. So Rob Reviews is a new web series, if you want to call it that, web short series. And basically, I'm going to be reviewing a bunch of stuff. The first episode's up. It's the Movie Pass review, which I've been talking about for a while. We talked about it last week a little bit, but I found out that the video that I put up previously, I edited out 6 minutes of it. So I had to go back in and recut it and put it back up there. But it is up and it's live now. You can find that on YouTube. YouTube.com/Robert and Cheek, theoretically, if that still works. If not, the link's available at Robert and Cheek on all your social networks. You can find it. Maybe working on some other stuff this week. We'll see. But yeah, make sure you check that out. So.
Yep. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're
between
listening.
angering the police and the Israelis, I think we've.
Yeah, let's see. Roy Moore and the Republicans.
Yeah.
Trump.
Well, I wouldn't call them Republicans.
They're Republicans. Trump. The Israelis.
They're this new brand of idiot that's...
God, if we can piss people off, we really do. So, yeah. Feedback's always welcome.
Yeah.
As always, you're listening to the OD Anthem podcast, part of the OD Anthem Digital Network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
No, off to find some 14-year-olds.
And I'm going to have to edit that right out. Okay.